Hello everybody, it's vanburman here and welcome to Chaos Reborn. I should just start by saying that I got a free, it was free, key for the game from my network actually. I'm with the Markee Dragon network, which is part of Freedom, but it is also separate from it as well, in the sense that it runs itself and just comes under the umbrella of Freedom. It's just one of the many branches of it. And now I've got that out of the way. I'm unfortunately obliged to say that, but still. Yeah. So basically, this game is made by the creators of the original XCOM series, and as you will probably know, I'm a fair old fan of XCOM itself. I definitely liked Enemy Unknown. I wasn't that keen on Declassified, but obviously they're the modern versions of the game. But the point remains, we always know it's going to be a heavily strategic game, and I must say, while playing this particular battle, I wasn't really too sure what I was doing, so yeah, I just gave my best. I did lose, which you will see later on, and I think primarily because of that. I managed to summon all of them, which was, well, fairly lucky. As you can see, my one before didn't quite go to plan. So, a bit about the game. Well, Chaos Reborn, it was on Kickstarter back in March, April of this year, 2014, just this year. I didn't actually spot it when it was on there, which is a shame, because I almost certainly would have backed it and, put some money towards it, and maybe even got a decent reward because of it. But never mind. This is what happens basically if you don't monitor Kickstarter once every 28 days or such. But regardless, they've done very well. They got funded, and obviously now they're on Steam and it's in early access as we speak. The game's literally just come out on early access as well, but they do have a playable version of the game. The multiplayer is working. None of the single player options or the AI is currently working at the minute, but the fact that they've got something that's very playable, it runs really well as well. I'll just bring me on to the minimum specifications, I suppose. Basically, my tablet could run this game, and that means pretty much anything that's come out in perhaps the past 6 or 7 years will be able to run this fairly easy. The minimum operating system is XP, and yeah, as you can tell, it's not a heavily graphically intense game at all. Whether they will buff it out or not later on remains to be seen, but, well, I think simplicity sometimes lends itself to its own charm. The price on Steam is £12.99 for the UK. I think that must equate to about $20 in America, which I suppose is coming up to about the norm for early access. I'd perhaps like to see it a little bit less, but then again, I don't know what the reward tiers were for Kickstarter, of course, which I guess might have had some sort of impact on their pricing of the game in early access. I'm not too sure about that. So as you can see, the game involves running around trying to summon creatures. At the bottom you've got your cards, which you can use, as I say, to try and summon them, or to use your spells, or to disbelieve. Now the game tries to add in a bit of strategy by allowing you to summon shadows of creatures. So you get the option to summon it in the physical realm, so to speak, or you get the option to summon it in the shadow realm, I guess would be the way to put it, although I think we're stepping into Yu-Gi-Oh territory there. And basically you've got a much higher chance, like illusion, okay. You've got a much higher, 100% chance of casting it. But each enemy wizard gets the disbelieve spell, so they can cast a disbelieve spell, and if it is an illusion, then it goes away. Which obviously adds a bit more of an element to it, I suppose. You might have something that's very hard to summon and cast it as an illusion, and have it come through. Of course, then the opposing enemy or the opposing player has to decide whether to use their disbelieve or not. And the disbelieve spell, if it works, gets rid of the illusion. If it doesn't work, I believe that that's all they can do on their turn. So it does have a bit of a heavy price, not quite as heavy as I would like, to be honest. I'd like to see it maybe incorporate a bit more strategy in it. But like I said, I didn't really know what I was doing, and I tried to attack him head on, which wasn't actually the best idea at this stage because I had a pretty big advantage at that point. I'd managed to get out a lot more creatures than he had, and quite frankly, if I'd have just stood my ground, we both ran out of cards, I probably could have won. But I was a bit ambitious, and I thought, now I'll go and finish him off. But that's likely to happen when you're playing a game for the first time. You will also have different modes come in, so you'll be able to play 2v2 and free-for-all as well, I believe. So 4 players all against each other, which will be interesting, nevertheless, to say. I'm not really sure what else there is, to be fair. The single-player mode, I believe, will have a story in it as well, so that will give some sort of playability there. And I did find the game pretty hard going. Like I say, not having any experience on it or with the game before. Like I say, this is my first game to do it. I wasn't perhaps 100% aware of how to play it, and yeah, unfortunately, all of my guys ended up getting killed, and he eventually strikes me down, which is in the video, of course. What do I think of the game so far? Well, you can't hear the music, which is a crying shame. Let me see if I can turn it up. I don't know if you can hear it. Yeah, the soundtrack's really nice. I'm really impressed by it. Really keen on it. I do like the art style as well. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's very functional. It works quite well. That's really loud. And overall, it's a pretty good experience you get from it. As soon as I saw it advertised, I was really excited to play it, and I am really excited to see how it does as it develops. So if you are into games, if you are into XCOM, Enemy Unknown, or anything like that, then this one is probably for you, to be honest. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully this has given you some information on the game and maybe convince you to go and try it out for yourselves. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. There'll be a link in the description if you want to visit the Steam page. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.